Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight on Facebook Live. I'm Coach Rick, and joining me tonight, I have longtime health coach, colleague Gina. Hello, Gina. How are you?
I'm great. Hey, Rick. I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy Ava and Oshin are joining us. And thanks everybody for joining us and who's watching tonight.
That's right. Gina, you work at a local clinic at Stone's Throw from my town, and Ava and Oshin work with you in the program, which is just fantastic. Ava and Oshin, how are you guys doing tonight?
Awesome.
Very, very good. Happy to be here.
Good. We're happy to have you. Really, really good. You guys have done a phenomenal job in the program, and we're going to hear more about that tonight. We are going to be extending the theme that we started last week, which is just so appropriate, putting 2020 in the rearview mirror, more motivation to start 2021 strong. So a really good conversation last week with Shane and Gary and Crystal, and we want to extend that here. But we also want to isolate a little bit more on sort of a sub theme, which all of us talked about, that being what's possible. What is possible with your weight? So we want to hit on, for people who are watching, those of you who are in phase 1 of the program, we want to hit on weight loss momentum. What is it? How do you generate it? Oshin, you're going to be able to speak to that. And also, once you've lost the weight, we also want to talk about long-term successful weight management. So after we put our call into Casting Central, your names came up, Oshin and Ava, and we are excited to hear your stories. I really will encourage the audience, those of you who are watching, please look to ask questions. If there's anything that sort of you're curious about, anything that you want to hear relative to the experiences that both Oshin and Ava are going to share, I'll make sure that we answer those questions. And I'll be monitoring the comments very closely. And given that, Gina, maybe since you're the one who has really worked with Oshin and Ava through the years here, why don't you sort of take the lead and help them share their story with everybody?
Yeah, they have great stories to share. So I'm really thankful to be here tonight. And I'll start with Oshin. And, I remember when you walked through the door and you were very quiet and very reserved, and you are completely a different person now. And so I think you should start with just the days prior to HMR and take us through maybe the lowlights and some of those dark days that Crystal referred to last week. And, share your reasons for why it was so important for you to lose this weight once and for all. It's such a good story.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to. For me, I first and foremost, I learned about HMR through my mom. My mother years ago went through the program and she had tremendous success. And since then, she's rejoined over the last couple of years and she's doing great again. And she's, back into like staying in the box, so to speak. And she's doing phenomenal. She's lost a ton of weight. And she was like halfway through her own weight loss journey. And for me, when I started in February 1st to be exact, last year. So this February will be 1 full year. And to be honest, I don't remember prior to then when the last time was that I even weighed in. I don't remember when the last time was that I had gone to the doctors for a physical. I talked to Gina about this many times. After a while, you become numb to it. You don't want to hear the same things over and over from your doctor. So I just kind of put it out of sight, out of mind for years and years, unfortunately. And then it got to a point where I looked around in my life and everything up until last year was on paper going phenomenally for me. I am married to an incredible wife. I had a beautiful big boy, and I had one on the way at the time who's now nine months old. We just bought our dream home. My career was taking off. I had 2 amazing bosses. Like everything on paper was going incredible, except for the fact that I was a 34-year-old man that, when I finally got the courage to weigh myself in, I saw a number that I'll never forget. I saw 388.8 pounds. I am 5'6", not a big guy by any means. I'm definitely not a basketball player. So it was a number that shocked me. I've always been overweight my whole life, but each time it seems like it gets worse and worse. So for me, what finally got me on the scale was just finally understanding that I wasn't comfortable. My day-to-day physically was not comfortable. I made a list that my wife knows about and has seen, and it was just all the things that I, the things the painful things that people go through when you're that big on a day-to-day basis that you kind of just get used to and think is normal. Being out of breath, putting my socks on, walking up and down a flight of steps, not being able to do normal things, going kayaking with my wife, things that she likes to do, things that I like to do, taking my son to the mall, walking around, you'd get frustrated and blame the fact that kids take up a lot of things and you have to prepare. And that wasn't why I was upset. It's because you're physically just not comfortable walking. And I went to Disney World on a beautiful trip with my in-laws and stuff from my wife's grandmother's 90th birthday, like a year or two prior. And Disney World, right? The most magical place on earth. And I'm sitting there miserable 90% of the time because it's hot. I'm a big guy. I am not comfortable. My knees hurt, my legs hurt, my back hurts. I just got tired of not feeling like I was 34 years old anymore. And I joined the program, and it's funny that Jina says I was quiet. I feel like people who know me know I am everything but. It's just I walked into that program just kind of mad at the world, like I mad at my own situation, but ready to blame everybody else but myself and my own decisions. And when you walk into Gina's class, Gina very much has a way of holding you accountable, but not being so obvious about it. She does it quietly. She does it silently. And I've told her many times, and I feel bad saying it, but like the first couple of meetings, I genuinely wanted to dislike Gina in every way possible because she was a skinny woman who in my head has never been fat before, never been big before, has no idea what it's like to be 400 pounds. And here she is, and one more person who's going to tell me how to do it. Obviously, over time you learn about Gina too, and you learn that she is not skinny or healthy or physically active by accident. She is about that life, as they say, and she practices what she preaches. So that's how I got started. And fast forward 12 months, I've been on decision-free shakes. I was very regimented, probably more regimented than a lot of people normally would be or need to be. I stuck to the minimum prescription of 5 120 vanilla shakes. And for the most part, I can count on like one hand how many times I had 6, and those were holidays or birthdays and like special occasions. But for me, it was just a trade-off. I was so deathly afraid of the number that I was at, and my lab work was atrocious, that I wanted to lose as much weight as I could as fast as possible. And the metric kept changing. I wanted to be 215 pounds at the start of this because I thought that was as small as I was humanly possible for me. And I got there. Then it changed and it changed and it changed. And I'm finally at my goal weight. I've promised Gina I'm at my goal weight and I'm done.
No more.
No 12 maintenance, but 214 pounds later, it's been an incredible year. I am just excited to be able to scream it from the rooftops, not because of the attention, because trust me, that's the last part of it. I still very much many days feel like a 400-pound man. It still takes a lot of adjusting, but it's to be able to find anybody who was down here and wants to find some sort of motivation in their life. You can do it. I am no one that is special. I didn't do anything that anyone can't do. Like, I think my counterpart here tonight is the real hero when you hear her story, because she has done what a lot of people statistically told her shouldn't happen, and it's keeping this weight off. So that's, I guess, how I'll pass the torch over to you. But that is my story, and I'm excited to be here with all of you tonight.
Yeah.
Can I interject real quick? I should welcome some of the people who've joined us, but I would also just say, Oshin, that is so incredible, just what brought you here. And it makes me think of something that one of my colleagues, Coach Jen A, said earlier this week in response to last week when our very impressive guests shared what we called in that episode, Oshin, their dark days. And Jennifer had several clients actually comment to her that it was really useful to hear about the dark days because it served a really important purpose of getting them in touch with why they're doing what they're doing. So thank you for sharing that. And Ava, when we get to you as well, please, there's a real purpose to just take a moment and dwell on those dark days. And with that, let me just quickly say hi. I can't say hi to everyone, but guys, we have a lot of people here watching, a lot of positive comments. We do have my other colleague, Coach Jen C, who's manning the comments. She's HMR program. I know Nancy is here. I saw Sue is here. Really great. A lot of our regulars are here. We have 8 people in our watch party in Natick, Gina. That's Sherry.
Hey.
Really great.
That's awesome.
Quick call out to Sharon W. I'm going to come back to you, Sharon. Sharon W has been on our as a guest before. Kathy is here. Kathy Godwin, another colleague. Also, Len is here. Len, the president of HMR, just really walks the talk and is just a fan as much as any of us of the program. So, Len, thank you for joining us here. This is really great. I'm not going to go through it. I'll just see what comments I can pull out here. My cousin, Dan, is here. And of course, Shane is here. So look at this. I keep saying I'm not going to say hi to everyone and I can't stop. So Gina, let me turn it back to you and I'll go through and see if I can prune out some of the comments.
Yeah, so I just want to say one more thing about Oshin and you know, obviously the weight loss is so impressive, but as a coach, it was so nice to see the change in Oshin. I mean, coming in so quiet and reserved and angry and, you know, living in those dark days and the transformation, it was like a flower that like blossomed. I mean, you're just such a different person and maybe we're always that person, but it's so lovely to see it. And I just think that's such a nice side of being a coach is being able to celebrate not just the weight loss, but every aspect of it. So I just wanted to share that as well.
Should I take a minute and share a picture or two of Oshin? Gina, what do you think?
Yeah, good time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the moment here, so let's do it. So Gina, can you see my screen? Let me just pull it up here.
I can indeed, yep.
Okay, so let me get to see if it's in, I'm putting it in present mode. So
Oh.
Wow.
The picture on the left is my cousin's wedding last year in December. Sorry to my poor cousin in advance. That button on that vest was hanging on for dear life. That was very much my life a year ago today. It's hard to believe.
Just unbelievable.
Wow.
really great.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I think already we've got some people commenting about that picture. For those of you in the audience, give Oshin a little bit of love here. I will say, Oshin, most of the comments are addressing the obviously very good style choice you made to start shaving your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's solid choice on your part. I think we are unified in that front. Okay, very good. So that picture, is there anything that comes to mind for you besides that button?
To be honest, just the level of uncomfort. Like, again, I can't stress enough, like, unless you've been this weight before, and I don't recommend anyone try it, it's not about looks. It stops being about your looks like 120 pounds ago at that point. It really starts to be about just being so uncomfortable that you actually can't work out even if you wanted to for a long time. I don't think that gets enough attention. Gina gave me a lot of rope there. She not once let me forget that working out and exercise and cardio and all those great things are a part of this process. But she also took my word for it when I looked at her and I said, listen, Gina, if for right now I'm focusing on what we call, again, being in the box and eating what I'm supposed to until I feel like and it took a while. I would say it took the first, Gina, what, 50, 60 pounds probably. Yeah. I mean, at least for me to be able to feel the energy shift. And then as soon as you get a taste of just how much better you feel. I also had severe gout. So like I'd go to bed normal, perfectly normal, and wake up. I don't know if anyone you know has ever dealt with gout back home or on TV or whatever, but it's extremely painful. You go to bed completely normal and you wake up feeling like you've like shattered your foot, you've broken your foot, and it's swollen and red and you can't move it. And the episodes could be a couple of days or 2-3 weeks. And again, I'm a 34-year-old man who will deal with something like that, like a flare up like that, once every 2-3 months for a week or two at a time. I have crutches sitting here and I've never broken a foot, knock on wood. I have crutches because I would have so many flare-ups on. It would happen in my elbow. I've since been taken off my gout medicine. The levels, all my blood work came back normal, and across the board, they were all atrocious. So what that picture just keeps bringing me back to is just being uncomfortable all the time, being hot, being tired, being just out of breath, exhausted, not feeling how a 34-year-old is supposed to feel. And then on the right, it's just, I don't even know why I'm like giddy happy there. I think it's because I finally got to steal my wife's sweater. That is actually her sweater that I finally fit into, so that's probably
funny.
why I'm giddy
I did
now.
not know that.
I got
That
a
is
free sweater out of the deal.
That's great.
Oshin, you're getting a lot of love from the community. Obviously, many people saying congratulations. Katrine, so proud of you. Sue, Martha, just beautiful. Natalie, so proud of you. Sherry, beautiful. Wow, a lot of beautiful comments. Annika, incredible. It just goes on and on. Please make a point, Oshin, to feel the love post after this, so you can watch
I
this.
appreciate
Some
it.
of
Thank
these.
you very much.
Yeah, really, really good. I'll just put up another photo here, one that you had put together and shared before on Facebook. And
Unbelievable.
Wow.
now you've got some of your family in here. So
Yeah.
just off the top of your head, what do you
It's my little boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good, really amazing. What a transformation. What a testimony to your commitment. Well done, sir. Really nicely done. And again, I cannot represent the comments like I wish I could. So Gina, let me turn it back to you.
Wow.
Yeah, unbelievable. It's just, it really shows you what's possible. And I'm sure there were times, Oshin, you thought, will it ever happen? Will I ever be able to do it? And I see you're getting emotional. I mean, it's important, big stuff. So your family's important to you, obviously. And this stuff is real. So great job. And I love working with you. And I'm looking forward to many, many years of working with you, months of working with you, whatever it takes. So
Absolutely.
Real quick add in here, Oshin. This will raise your spirits. Oren, who has clearly a sense of the dramatic, very simply said, "What a stud."
there you go.
That is my baby brother. He's 7 years younger, and he's actually doing the HMR program himself as well. He's lost crazy weight. He's lost almost 100 pounds. My mother, like I said, has lost almost 100 pounds. We've all kind of quarantined and lost some weight together. And what's funny is the weight we've lost combined is, I'm pretty sure, getting close to what I weighed to start off with. So that's like a fun little twist that we're getting to, and we're all trading recipes. And Rick keeps saying he's got the best chocolate shake. Chocolate. What is it? Hot chocolate recipe. So we will have a competition after this is all over. I'm ready.
All right, I'm putting my hot cocoa with macadamia coconut. I'm putting it up against anybody here.
Oh, I don't know. My lava cake's pretty darn good. So
That sounds like some tough competition.
We've been losing weight, people. I promise. Hot chocolate and chocolate lava.
Oh, great. All right.
can we turn it over to Ava and get her story?
Please do.
Yeah. So we heard phase one. What's possible?
Oh, Gina, I'm so sorry. A number of people have commented here. We're getting to you, Ava. Kate mentioned how inspired she was. One last thing with you, Oshin.
Yeah.
Kate, our fellow health coach, mentioned how inspired she was when she saw the video that you posted of you doing push-ups with your son. And now Len has just commented, again, he's the president of HMR. It literally brought tears to his eyes.
I appreciate that. I will say a funny story about that is you got to be careful how much you teach a 4-year-old, because they absorb everything. I've learned that. And I was telling Gina before this call, like, everyone knows me, knows I love music. So I got my 4-year-old onto Metallica and healthy eating lately. And the other day he's eating broccoli and he goes, "Daddy, do you know why broccoli's good for you?" And I said, "Why, buddy?" And I'm like proud, beaming. "Well, it has fiber. And fiber's good for you." So a 4-year-old out there knows that broccoli is fiber and is good for you. And he also knows that Metallica is the way to go in life. So I've been doing 2 things right so far in this process. He's a sponge. I love incorporating him into it. He asks me they see everything. So they see the good and the bad. If I'm eating unhealthy and not taking care of myself, he sees that. If he sees me exercising every day, he does his own little versions of it. I admit fully our push-ups and our form always could be better, but he's willing to do it all. So I feel like little things like when we pull out his snacks, obviously he's not on the HMR diet. He's still a kid. He's living
course.
his but when he has goldfish, he asked me what I'm reading in the back of the box, and I explained to him that on the box it's trying to tell you how much is the healthy amount that you should be eating. So now I'm sitting there finding myself trying to show a 4-year-old how to count to 55, and that's what we spend our afternoons doing. It sounds stupid, but at the same time, it's something that I feel like if you just never made a priority in your life to learn, it's never too early, just like it was never too late for me. Jina
Great message.
pushes that in every way possible every day and in every class that I've joined. So why not pass it on? If I'm going to pass it on to everybody on here, I might as well start with my 4-year-old.
Beautiful. In the event, Jina, that no one has seen, anyone out there hasn't seen that video, I am going to play it. It's only
It's great.
only 99 seconds long.
No more tears, people. I promise. I got it together.
But boy, oh boy, does this 9 seconds speak volumes beyond what you see in the 9 seconds here. Just tremendous.
So great.
Well done.
Thank you.
To our audience, what is that a metaphor for? Boy, oh boy. That is just 9 seconds. That is not even about push-ups. It's just your journey in 9 seconds. Wow. Just really, really, really good. So impressive.
Thank
All
you.
right. So back to you, Jina. Well done. Well done, Oshin.
Absolutely. So we've talked about phase 1 and what's possible with phase 1, and obviously such a compelling, inspiring story. But now let's turn over to talk a little bit more about phase 2. But before you get into your phase 2, I just want to say, Ava, you and I go way back. You joined HMR in 2006. You're still coming to HMR classes. You're keeping off all of the weight you lost, and you've actually gone on to lose more in phase 2. Which is so impressive. And I can actually say that our relationship, working together, you're my friend as well as my client. I mean, we've really worked so closely together over all these years. And I really, I love that. I love that part of this work. So why don't you take us on a quick trip down memory lane and review your weight loss, review why you decided to join, what had you join in the first place? We'll start there.
Okay, thank you, Jina. Feelings mutual. HMR is one of my very favorite places to be. And when I couldn't get there this summer because of COVID, I jumped on many phone calls, which thank you very much for doing. But also when we were able to get back into the studio in, I forget, September, October, I walked in and Terry and I said, it feels like we're home. We're home. It was just such a relief. And I love being there, to come in at least once a week and still be on the calls,
Yep.
3 or 4 times a week. It's great. And Oshin, welcome to phase 2. It is so possible. You're going to do great. Just keep showing up. And I know you will. My story. So in 2006, I'll go back a little bit further than that. In probably maybe 1996, I had decided I was never going to diet again. That was it. I was done because I had done diet. And I was just tired of it. Well, over the years, 10 years later, I put on 50 pounds. And anytime I had ever dieted, first time was 20 pounds. So I lost it. Then you go on your merry way, gain 30, lost it. Gain 40, lost it. And this time I was up 50 and I had a number in my head that I never wanted to go over. Mm-hmm. So I back again to the diet cycle, and I had gone to Weight Watchers the week before I came to HMR for, I don't know, the umpteenth time. I couldn't even do it for 2 days. I could not even do it for 2 days. And I was at work. I used to work upstairs from HMR, third floor, worked for a vascular surgeon. And we were on our way out one day, myself and the office manager, and there were these flyers on the floor that somebody had shoved under the door. And I'm a firm believer that you're where you're supposed to be at the time. And my manager picked them up and she says, "Oh, this is just trash." And all I spotted on there was weight. And I said, "What is that? What is that?" And she turned it over and she was going to throw it away. And I said, "Can I have that? I might need that." And I took it home, and I never knew, I worked upstairs for this vascular surgeon for 1 year, past that door twice a day on the way to the cafeteria, and never knew that you were in there. Yeah. And so I called the number, went that following Monday for the orientation, still in the back of my mind that I wasn't doing this. Sat for the orientation, took home my materials, took home my food, and I decided to do healthy solutions. And like you, Oshin, I didn't want to do the decision free because I didn't want to see the doctor. And anyway, so healthy solutions for a week, lost 5 pounds, great. Mm-hmm. In the weight room with Jina, and I said, she goes, "Oh my God, that's so good." And I said, "I am not doing this. Sorry, can't do it." She said, Why? I said, "I'm starving. Sorry. But if I'm hungry, this isn't going to work. It's just not going to work." And I did the bare minimum of the healthy solution for the first week. And she said, "That's okay. That's okay. You can eat as much as you want as long as you stick to the meal replacements, shakes, and vegetables and fruits, nothing else." I said, "Okay, I'll try it 1 more week." I came back in. I said, "Okay, I'm good. I'm good." And I never looked back, and I lost weight almost every week up until the end, when I had just a couple of pounds to lose, and it would stay the same, lose a 0.2 of a pound, stay the same. Came up very slow the last 4 pounds, but for the most part, I mean, it was awesome. It was awesome. And I was never hungry after that. And if I needed 6, 8, 10 shakes, I had them. I had 2 entrees a day plus that, and never felt like I was overeating or that I was doing something that was going to make or cause me to gain weight. Beautiful. So it's been awesome. Went into phase 2, and still do a lot of healthy solution. My eating plan, that's how I eat, probably 90% of the time.
Beautiful.
It's filling. To me, it's nutritious, which when I came in here, I wanted to get healthy. I worked for the vascular surgeon. We saw a lot of type 2 diabetics, a lot of amputees that he would do the surgery, a lot of popliteal bypasses, which are the legs, a lot of aneurysms, a lot of carotid arteries. And I said to him one time, because at that time I was pretty big there, that picture, I worked there. And I said to him, why is this? Some of these people are younger than me. Why do they have all this? He said, Ava, it's all lifestyle. It's all, not all, I'm sorry, 75% lifestyle. First of all, you have to move. Your body wants to move. It has to move. And you have to watch what you eat. The other 25% is genes and environment. Some things you just can't do anything about. But and I have that in my head all the time. If that is huge when I make my food choices, that if it doesn't have nutrition in it, I don't want it. I don't want it.
Ava, I'll share a picture, just the pre-post in case anyone has not seen it, of you. And let me just put that up here. And as with Oshin, you're getting a lot of really, really cool comments here. Whoops, hold on. There we are. Ava, you're my hero. Ava, such a great story. People are sharing that your experience is their experience, and the fact that you've been able to be this successful for this long provides tremendous hope. Just like I said, with Oshin, please make a point to watch this again just to see some of the comments that I'm not able to reflect. I'll just a couple of other comments, a question for you, Ava, in a moment. First, just Len said, Ava, thank you for being such a wonderful HMR role model. So thrilled you've been with us for so long, showing how you can sustain your healthy lifestyle. And Shane, my frequent co-host, has a question for you. So now that you've lost the weight and kept it off, how has your quality of life changed? Which, Gina, I don't mean to take away your questions, but Shane preempted you there.
Great question. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, PA was non-existent when I came into HMR, and I was last night on the call, one of the members was struggling to get in the PA, and I said to her, when I first started, I wasn't doing any PA at all, and Gina said, start with 5 minutes. Go out 5 minutes, come back 5 minutes, go out 5 minutes, come back, go out 8 minutes, come back 8, whatever you can do, and come back and add to it, add to it, add to it. I would never believe that I can do 3,000 PA in a week. I've gone higher than that, not very often, but 3,000 now is what I shoot for. And yeah, I would never believe that I take Pilates once a week. I just can't even, I wouldn't do it. Gina had arranged for us to do an 8-week CrossFit last winter, just before COVID. And oh my God, I shook before every class because I said, I can't do this. I'm not going to be able to do this. They're all going to be so young and they're all going to be in shape. And even though it was all HMR, and I'm like, I couldn't even believe that I could do that. But even just simple things like Oshin was saying, everything hurt you to do at that weight. We had our first grandchild in 2005. And that's another reason why I knew I needed to do something. I didn't want to be a rocking chair grandmother. I wanted to be able to participate. And he was a baby, and I was down on the floor with him, and I was holding him, and I went to get up, and I couldn't get up. I couldn't hold him and get up off the floor at the same time. I had to put him down, get up, then somehow bend over and pick this kid up. And I was like,
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
people are loving your story here. Really. Nancy Matza, I want to be Ava. and she says more than that. Nancy Douche, so great. I hope I'm saying that right. So great for keeping the weight off all these years. You're an inspiration. Victoria, Ava, maintaining weight loss is so challenging. Thank you for proving that we can all do it.
Again.
David Erickson, awesome job. Jennifer, who I work with, nicely done, Ava. Terry, love that you kept the weight off after all these. It just keeps going. Please make a point to learn. And I'm speaking to our audience. Thank you for taking the time to type comments here. I mean, this has you part of the conversation, and we really just appreciate you sort of letting us know that you're there and that you're tracking with the stories that you're hearing.
Rick, can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
So, when Ava was speaking, it just occurred to me, that one of our themes tonight is it's possible, showing what's possible. And I think that's just such a great story, that you told about the exercise, and, you didn't think you could get to 3,000 ever. Well, of course, if you think you can't, you'll never get there. And so I just think that message needs to be so loud and clear that, start with baby steps, and you just don't know what you can accomplish. And I am a quote geek. So can I share my quote, Rick?
Oh, please do. Yes. Oh. Yeah, we both love quotes.
This quote, and it just is so perfect for our theme. And we have that in common. Rick and I are quote geeks. So he. So it came up Tuesday when I was going through my email. Anyway, it says, "My dear friend, clear your mind of can't. My dear friend, clear your mind of can't." And that says it all. Like, if you say I can't, you'll never ever know what's possible.
What's possible, you can. I'm going to share one more quick photo. Well, a couple more photos, but this one real quick. This was for, this is Sharon W., who was, Sharon, I know you're watching. Just because you, where are you? There you are. Just because you have already served your time here in this space as one of our guests doesn't mean you can escape. So Sharon has got the green leggings on, guys. Sharon had lost over 100 pounds in the program. She's a fabulous, fabulous guest here. She was with Charlie. And this was right before her, or right after her Zumba class, and they were going to take a photo. And if I could just read, if you guys let me, what Sharon said. She wrote, "I thought I can't jump in the air for this after Zumba class photo. Well,
You did it.
for my former engineering training suggests that you might be clearing 8 to 10 inches there, Sharon. That is really impressive." And then I'll also just add in, Sharon, you're such a support for HMR. After I asked her would it be okay if I showed your photo, she said, "Of course you could show it. All is possible with HMR. This program saved my life," which that's not the first time I've heard that. So Sharon, thank you. Thank you for sending that. And I'm so glad I could represent you here. Really good. All right. So Jina, I have a question for both Oshin and Ava here, if I can. So you guys on Monday when we all spoke, we talked about the fact that there will be people who watch our discussion here who obviously in the program, those are our regulars. I should just quickly say, hello, Susan, one of our strongest regulars. Oshin, you'll like this. Susan just shared a moment ago, her 4-year-old is doing push-ups during this episode.
Oh,
Yes.
That's great.
Why would he be doing that, Oshin?
Good for you. Good for you, bud.
Really, really good. Danielle White, nice to see you here. Awesome. Thank you for supporting us. I did want to call out David Erickson. Hey, David, thank you so much for posting. I was scribbling here because I lose the comments, but forgive me if I get some of the stats wrong. But David shared that he started the program at 545 pounds and he has lost 298 pounds.
Wow. Good for you.
He weighs 226.
awesome.
Wow.
Well
He
done.
weighs 226. He came in at 545 and his goal weight was 230. He's 226.
Awesome. Well done.
David, thank you for sharing that. That is truly awesome. Sandra also chimed in here. I just started the program again today. I'm so excited to be back in the program.
Nice.
So that's perfect comment for me to ask the question of both of you guys. So Ava, just go back a bit, to phase 1, but though we're going to talk in a moment about your success losing weight in phase 2. And Oshin, you're right in there. Think about phase 1 and people who don't have the experience that you guys have. What is some advice that you would give to someone in phase 1, whether they're just starting or in the process of losing weight? And I'll just say Candace, someone I work with, is just said hi. And she finds both of you so inspiring. Hi, Candace.
Hi.
This is who you're talking to. You're talking to Candace, who works with me as she's working on losing weight. So any advice off the top of your head? Oshin, why don't you start? What comes to mind?
Sure. I was going to let Ava go first, but absolutely.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say that to just committing and telling yourself that you're going to take the first step is commitment enough. I've told Jina and a lot of people in the class over and over, like my entire year has been, like, the best way I can explain it is just perfectly imperfect. When you are not a health conscious person, or it isn't embedded in your life just yet, you think that you have to kind of do all or nothing. Like, and that's what leads to a lot of frustration before you even start the process. That's what led to my frustration with someone I didn't even know in Gina. Like, I felt like she just had it all together and it was so natural for her. And it's like, there's no effort if you're Gina, but there's only effort if you're Oshin. And it's just not the way that any of this works, So what wasn't perfect, right? My record keeping, Gina will tell the world, was atrocious. Like, I was like, I'm not writing this down. I'm not using an app, and it wasn't perfect. And it was easy to get away with for a long time because it's 5 shakes a day when you're completely decision free, like I was. So there was one thing that took a lot of time. I record keep now to the point where it's like, I mean, I eat a piece of gum, it's in there. No, does that really matter in the grand scheme of things? No, but I ate it, so it's in there. Drinking water, I couldn't drink 2 glasses of water. I'd go. I mean, at this point, I measure my water. I know I get like 1.5 to 2 gallons of water a day, but that took all 12 months to get to this point. It took practice. It took every single day trying to work at it. The exercise didn't start happening for like 3-4 months. The only thing that was consistent and happened was I made a decision that the food was going to be perfect for as long as I could keep it perfect. Perfect in my own sense of the word. If I'm hungry, I would have eaten. But I learned to space out my food. I was the type of person that would only eat 1 meal a day, at most 2 meals a day, 5 p.m., 10 p.m. You know, like, and it was just horrible habits all along. And I felt like there was no possible way I could make any change that was meaningful because I wouldn't commit to all of it at the same time, which is just not the way it necessarily has to be. And to that, I give a lot of credit to Jina, because Jina, although wasn't patient with her, she would never let you forget you didn't keep your records, you didn't do your midweek
Right.
check-in, you didn't. She's not going to let you off the hook, but at the same time, pick their battles almost. Gina, I guess that I don't want to put words in your mouth, but pick your battles.
Yeah, I mean, I think for you, it was the first step was really committing to do this, and it was scary and it was big. And so in your mind, I think you said, I'm just going to focus on the food. I'm just going to do the shakes. And I was okay with that because you were losing weight. And I said to you every step of the way, though, we will do records, you will do PA. I'm not letting you off the hook, but I get where you're coming from. And so, you know, we kind of made that decision in partnership, and that's sort of how I work with everybody, because everybody's a little bit different. So, but the first step really was that commitment, walking through that door, I think. For
Yeah,
you.
I think that's one thing I've hung on to from the beginning. So anytime things don't go perfectly now, it's amazing how much you don't even realize your thought process is changing. Like the last time I got frustrated with this whole process was about two weeks ago. I told Gina and I told my wife, and my wife put it in perspective. I got really upset, like raging mad, because not at my children, but because I was working out in the middle of the day, and my 9-month-old dared to wake up half an hour early from his nap and ruined it. Like I had a great workout going. Ava knows what it's like. You get into a groove. I'm like feeling it, and I see the monitor go off. My wife's in a meeting. She can't stop what she's doing, so I had to stop my really really good workout. And I was complaining to my wife about it after the fact. Like, I can't believe this workout got ruined. Now I'm gonna have to go finish that last half an hour separate, and it won't be as good. And she was like, "Can I stop you for a second? Like, not to make you sound crazy, but you kind of sound crazy, because like a year ago, if I told you that your biggest problem was not that you weren't working out, or that you weren't working out multiple days in a row at this point for an hour a day, killing it on your cardio to the extent that, you know, in your world, you're doing more than you ever did, and one workout got messed up, just come up with a better solution." And the solution was even crazier now than it would have been a year ago, because I find myself, I was just telling Gina in the last class that we had, I've started waking up at 4 a.m. If you told me a year ago that I'd wake up at 4 a.m. for literally anything, let alone to get on an elliptical and sweat, I would tell you you're crazy. But it's something that I've learned makes me feel ecstatic throughout the day. I feel like before 8 a.m. over the last 2 weeks, I've accomplished more in my day. I don't have reasons to come up with excuses during my day or have anything go south in my day so that I'm not getting the workout done. These are things that wouldn't have happened a year ago, but they definitely didn't happen on day 2. And that's kind of how I'm treating going into phase 2. Gina's been telling me I can go into phase 2 for months. It's not like the weight will stop coming off or not, or come back if you do it properly with the class, with Gina's help, with it. You know what I mean? It's just I had to do it my way. I'm in like an in-between stage, and I'm officially starting. It's an official date that I've only made up because I want to go for a whole year. She very much gave me a long leash, and it was, to summarize, perfectly imperfect. One step was just to commit to HMR, the program, and the fact that I know nothing. I've gotten 2 other people to join HMR besides family members, and I talked with one today who's a lifelong friend of mine. Not to embarrass him, but what's up, Divvy? He's lost like 30 pounds in the first couple of weeks that he's done it, and I keep drilling into his head, you gotta pay this monthly fee, not for the fact of paying and to be a part of HMR, but to be in these weekly classes. that is the only commitment I've literally ever asked him. I've never asked him to commit to shakes or anything like that, or to listen to me, because I keep telling him I don't have the answers. You lose some weight and everybody thinks you're the guru, and I'm definitely not. I point everyone right back to the program, right back to Jina, and that's the only thing I've continuously committed to.
So let me interject here, Oshin.
Yeah.
I'm going to bottom line it, and I want everyone in the HMR community to really maybe even write this down. You all, this is Oshin's advice. You all need to get up at 4 a.m. and exercise.
I did not say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I miss that? No, I'm kidding. No, one person's 4 a.m. is another person's 7 a.m. is another person's 7 p.m.
Right.
I'm going to bottom line what I heard from you, and please correct me, Oshin. Stay in action. Stay in action.
One foot in front of the other.
That's it. That's it.
Yep.
And I asked you, and now I'm going to ask Ava about the advice. I will just, Jennifer, thank you. Again, Jennifer is someone I work with. She's down over 140 pounds. She's still in weight loss. And whenever you are privy to advice from anyone who has had any modicum of success in this area of their life, weight loss, weight management, Jennifer highlighted a really important point. It's something we talk about sometimes in the program, which is the importance of having a beginner's mind. In other words, there's always something to learn. And it's not 4 a.m. exercise. It's what am I hearing behind Oshin's comments or whoever's comments that I can sort of adapt to my own lifestyle and my own circumstances, because there's always value in something that others share. So Jennifer, thank you for bringing up that point about the beginner's mind. The minute you approach listening to others saying, well, I got it all figured out, you've just created a glass ceiling. So stay in action. If I got that right, Oshin, I'm gonna take that as one of the real takeaways for you.
Absolutely.
Ava, what about you in terms of advice? I know it goes back a time, but you've had some real success losing weight, over the years too, even in phase 2. So what would you say to someone whose goal is to lose weight? And let's make it simple, keep it related to phase 1 and that experience for you.
Okay. For me, I would tell somebody in phase 1, keep attending, trust the process, because it is a process. Use your coach. That's what they're there for. Jina wants you to call her. She wants you to be in touch with her. She would rather you did that than kind of go along about your week and go and do something else and then come in and be up on the scale and have to start over. It's better to catch it quick. Also, Jina believes in us, or all of us, that we can do a lot more than what we think we can. And Jina knows that we can do more than we think we can. So Jina will always push you and always steer you in the right direction, I promise. The other thing I would say is, for me, I always say, or I've heard it many times, this is not about being perfect. It's about the practice. And you have to keep practicing. And every time you practice something, to me, I'm putting a layer on top of a layer on top of a layer. And we talked about this a lot in the spring about that foundation. That foundation is what you're going to get in phase 1 of losing weight, but that's also, that foundation is going to carry you over to phase 2. The foundation of the program. But when that foundation is cracked or something isn't solid in that foundation, then other things start to fall apart, and that's when you slip away and things aren't going so well. So I did a lot of that through the spring and the summer, and lost, I think 15, 16 pounds. But just solidifying that foundation, because it had started to fall a little bit and I had to wait. You want to talk about phase 1, sorry. But anyway, that foundation gets laid out, built in phase 1. And then to me, my job is to keep that foundation solid and keep, putting the layers on top. And when you talk about repetition in the classes, I love the repetition because I hear it different every time. The words might be the same, but I hear a different message every time.
Right.
So, I mean, I went back and I pulled out all my old record books from 2006. I have written down the same thing then that I have written down now. I said, the message is the same, lady, get it. So it doesn't go away. It doesn't end, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we really do hear things differently at different times. It's so funny. You're so right about the repetition is so necessary. You can hear something 10 times and then something about that 11th time, it strikes you as like not just an insight. Sometimes it strikes you as an epiphany.
Mhm.
And it doesn't happen without the repetition. So
Right.
great. I love it.
So Rick, like for me, a lot of times these classes and the community as a whole, like the Facebook pages and all that stuff, like it all comes together in a way of giving me a sense of like normalcy. It's very easy to feel like you're on a diet or, like the rest of the world is like, we live, especially in this country, like all you got to do is turn on the TV and we, as a culture, we eat and we have a culture of like eating habits that might not necessarily be healthy, but it is very much a normal for right or wrong, good or bad. There's zero judgment on my part because I've done it for years the wrong way. But for me, when I was trying to do the right things in my life, especially when it's around eating, I found that the easiest way to find my sense of normal is being on these classes with 30 other people, struggling with the same things I've struggled with repeatedly my whole life, talking about those struggles in different ways to Ava's point, and hearing the same things over and over, but at least it's other people struggling with things that you're struggling with. And that sense of community made me feel like driving by 14 different fast food restaurants on the way to work, it very quickly starts being your new normal, where you start to realize that people don't or shouldn't be eating this way every day. Yeah. And it goes past just judging or past, oh, you have the willpower, you don't. It's what you make your normal.
Yeah. I want to come back to the normal thing in just a second, Oshin. Ava, I want to see one of the things that really struck me with what you just said was the whole idea of not being in the game of holding yourself to being perfect. I mean, you try as hard as you can, you hold yourself to a high standard, but if your goal is perfection, you're losing that game. But instead, you sort of framed it as the goal is to practice, as we've been saying, to stay in action. And I thought Nancy, my longtime colleague and fellow co-host here often, she cited the fact that you stayed in action even though you had some weight gain. And it was because you stayed in action. Things weren't perfect, but you then went on to actually lose some weight. And I think Jina had shared even during COVID. Is that right?
COVID, yeah. During COVID.
Jina, take that on. I think that's a really important point. So Jina,
when COVID reared its ugly head, we had to sort of hustle and figure out what to do because we had classes of 20 people and we couldn't do that. So I quickly turned everything over to the phone first and then to Zoom. And I said to people, call into as many classes as you can, get as much support, stay connected. That was the word I used over and over again, stay connected. Don't let this be the reason that all your hard work and that foundation that you've worked so hard to create just goes out the window. So Ava really took that ball and she ran with it. And I think you were on every phone when we were doing the phone. You were on, and you were able to do that. I think two things that happened during that time that I noticed as your coach was that you had always been a record keeper, always, but it was more, just the triple imperative. And you decided during COVID, you were going to sort of get a little bit more detailed with record keeping. And we had discussed it in a class and we were talking about it and you did that. And you learned that your portions were a little off. And, so you learned some stuff through that. And then you put yourself in your own little sort of boot camp, we call it, where you decided to have some decision-free days in phase 2, which I think is a great idea. Why not? It works. It's not that you have to do it all the time, but you do it for a couple of days and that worked for you. And of course, as you got momentum and you kept coming to the calls and hearing different messages, you were practicing and you were staying in action and your PA went up. And so I think that was, as your coach, the experience I saw, the record keeping and the let me put myself back in the box a couple days and see where I land.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that. We have a couple of people in the program that say that they live with 1 foot in the phase 1 box.
Yes.
I do that. They're in phase 2, but they live with 1 foot in the phase 1. I do that a lot.
I do that.
I do that too.
I kind of like it.
Yes.
I like having an all shake day. It just works for me, and I don't feel, I don't know what the word is. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I don't feel deprived in any way. And it does, we were talking about this yesterday in the class, it does something magical to my brain. I don't know what it is, but shakes have a magic potion or something. I don't know, but it.
Yeah. Tell me if you guys can relate to this, and we do need to start turning the corner towards the end here. Unfortunately, it's such an awesome conversation. Being the phase 1, we're talking about when you're in phase 2. If a good percentage of your time is in phase 1, in other words, you're practicing the strategies and the recipes and combinations you enjoyed the most. You're not doing things you don't like. It allows you to earn your indulgences.
Mhm.
It's another way of being in the driver's seat around your weight, like long term. You keep enough of the phase 1 healthy behaviors. It allows you, in addition to the phase 2 new behaviors you develop. No one's perfect. No one here is perfect. No one listening is perfect. But so it's nice to know you can actually create an opportunity to enjoy food, even some of the foods that you miss the most, and still stay in the game.
Yeah.
That's what I heard from you, Ava.
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's exactly right. It's
Yep.
exactly right. Yes.
I want to just really acknowledge just how vibrant the comments have been here. I think we've set a record here for the number of people. I actually personally work with Larry. I am so psyched that you're here tonight. Jennifer acknowledging Larry. Terry's here. Candace, just tremendous. Really appreciate you guys being here. Awesome. So we've talked about weight loss momentum. Oshin, your sort of takeaway was not unlike Ava's takeaway in terms of like advice that you would give, which was stay in action. And now, Ava, you've added this sort of more advanced perspective, which is you stay in action. And while you're trying to be perfect, I mean, let's be honest, little reality-based thinking here, no one's perfect, but you stay in action. You keep the practice up regardless of what happens. And it opens up doors that otherwise aren't even there if you're not in action. So I'm hoping that message lands with our community. It's January. A lot of people are already starting to fail with what they had hoped to do. And then they're no longer in action. So I hope that this conversation with our 2 guests has really sort of landed in a way that is helping you to stay in action and motivate you to just keep pushing on your health habits for whether it's weight loss or managing your weight in phase 2. So Jina, before we finish, and I'll have us end on a couple of photos of our guests here. I have not done a good job of representing the acknowledgments that have been made for you in this space. Really, really something. Take some time and watch this and then look at what what people have said about the impact you've had on their life. And, just paraphrasing one of them, you are a blessing for the community that you've created for a Natick. So well done. Really, really nice.
Effortlessly too. She does it without any praise, and I mean, she doesn't look for the praise. She just does it every day.
She does. Yeah.
Thanks for adding that.
She's the best.
Our theme here was providing more inspiration and more motivation for starting 2021 strong to our audience. I hope that we've moved you in that direction of feeling some inspiration to just keep towing the line for another week, whatever phase of the program that you're in. And then sort of the sub theme was what's possible. And only you really will decide what your ceiling is on that. Oshin, I'm going to share a picture of both of them, both of you guys here. So this was the promotion that we had put up. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Great. So it occurred to Gina and I that that promotion was put up a week ago. And what's possible? Maybe we need to update this. So permit me if we will. So Oshin, you had lost 208 pounds the last time we had spoken as a group. Ava, when you 14 years ago, you had lost 47 pounds. Let's update this slide. What do you guys say in the spirit of what's possible? Do that?
Hey.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. So Oshin, you're
Awesome.
you're down 214 pounds, and look at you, Ava. For those of you who ever really question of this whole idea of long-term success, I mean, this is possible. Ava, what would you say about that? You're down. You originally lost 47 pounds with HMR. It hasn't been a straight line. We know that.
No,
It's not a
no.
straight line. So just a comment or two about now you're 62 pounds lighter than 14 years ago.
Right. For me, it's attendance. Even when I've had, I call them blips, gains here and there, I've never stopped attending. So I think you have the best shot at turning that around if you keep attending, because you're going to get back, like I said, back into into your base, your foundation, and work on whatever it is you need to work on, and quickly. If I don't keep attending and I'm having a gain, it's going to just keep on going and going and going and going, or it'll go maybe not as high as I was, but it'll get up there. And then it's to me, as hard as it is to keep it off or catch it really quick, it's harder to take it off, to start. For me, it would be starting over.
Right.
But that's not a bad thing either. That's not a bad thing either. You can, it's never too late, and it's never too late to start over.
Right.
And I would say, don't ever, ever, ever give up. Don't give up.
Love it. That's a great message to end.
Always.
When you say attendance, I'll just generalize it to everyone out there who's watching, whatever phase of the program you're in or however you're doing the program. Behind attendance is the concept that people probably cite the most as making the difference, and that is accountability.
Exactly.
So whether you're in a clinic, embrace the accountability.
Mhm.
If at-home coaching session where you're doing it from your own home or your office, embrace the accountability. If you're not in the coaching loop, hint, hint, we'd recommend that you join one. But in the meantime, join us every Thursday night. We're here, and this can be your accountability. Using the app, the record-keeping app is a form of accountability. The more accountability all of us have, we're all in this together, the better you'll do. So with that, I think we're going to wrap it up. I just looked. It appears that Gina has dropped off. I'm sure by mistake she pressed the wrong button. I'm not sure what happened there, but I just texted her, "Come back, come back."
I think she might have been getting a little emotional.
Oh,
Yeah.
Probably doing PA.
yeah, you're back. There you are.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. My Wi-Fi kicked me off. I have no idea.
Well, that happened. So we're gonna bid everyone who's been watching adieu. Guys, see you next Thursday. Thank you so much to our guests, Oshin and Ava. Just tremendous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep up the
Thank
good work.
you.
We want you back. And
Definitely.
to everyone else watching, thanks for watching. And we will see you soon. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good luck,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.